that had run out of warranties. We came to meet old equipment that did not even have service agreements, nor did they even have spare parts. So we are not surprised.
Doc said the machines are 30 years old, so it transcends 8 years. So all I want is solutions, because he said it goes beyond 30 years, if I heard him right. Some are 30 years old. That was what you said. Yes, you said...
I think it was Konfanochi that shared that information.
Yes, and for some of... No, and for even some of them, you don't even have what? The spare parts, meaning they are out of the system. And these equipments don't go out of the system in 8 years, in 10 years. No, it takes quite some time before, at least, if you can't find the parts, meaning they've stopped producing it, they started producing about 30 or so years ago. So that is the issue here. All I'm asking is, why is it so? And then you have assured us already through the Mahama Trust Care Fund that, but this is also a reality, that we tend to have obsolete equipment that goes beyond 8 years, that goes beyond 10 years, that goes beyond 15 years. So that is what I hope that we will address. That moving forward, the new machines that the trust fund is going to buy for us will be current machines, state-of-the-art machines, not machines that are 5, 6 years old already, and so we go and buy them, and in no time, when they are phasing out, it becomes difficult for us to get parts. So that if we are going to spend so much money through that fund, we should get, if we are buying it in 2025, hopefully we should get the 2025, 2024 model that will serve us for another 10, 15, 20 years before, when anything goes wrong, we don't seem to find the parts.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That's precisely what I was trying to tell you, because the last retooling was in 2014. So 2014 to 2025, that is precisely the equipment they are talking about. The equipment that we are using today, equipment we procured in 2014. So before we get to where we're going, we have to know where we are today. And that where we are today is that needs assessment. We have done the needs assessment. Individual hospitals, teaching hospitals have done it. The government through Mahama Cares have done it. And we are combining the two needs assessments. Thankfully, we have decided actually as a country now to maybe the high value equipment to do a central procurement, because once we do central procurement, I think we can also do proper standardization. We can use economics of scale. We can use pooled resources to get the equipment, the best equipment at good prices, and also to get it with good maintenance or warranties or extended warranties, and even maybe negotiate better to find companies that have in-country reps that would also be available to maintain these equipment. So we are completely on course, and soon all the retooling will take place, and most of these hospitals will get the modern 2025 versions of the equipments they need so that our people will have good health in Ghana. Thank you.
Minister, there was also a query raised in respect of the fact that Kolebu had a radiography machine, but they did not have the skilled person to use it, a radiographer. And so the machine was there, but it wasn't being used. Kolebu, can you, well, that's according to the auditors.
The human resource, that's the radiographers. We, just like the nurses and doctors, they are also, as we speak, they are on their way out. However, we're able to employ some, and that situation has resolved.
Now, at least you are utilizing yes, the equipment.
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you.
Minister, the big thing that I find from this report is the capacity to maintain medical equipment. And part of the report says training of biomedical engineers. Biomedical engineering units do not have the required expertise to repair and constantly maintain the medical equipment in the hospitals. Though the hospital strategic plans had outlined training for their biomedical engineers, these plans were only on paper and were not implemented to build the capacity of the engineers to handle the equipment. The hospitals resorted to the use of third-party vendors in lieu of the use of the biomedical engineers who were constantly on payrolls. What is the situation of the biomedical engineers now?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. When you talk about biomedical engineering, I think the larger question is our lack of maintenance culture. So biomedical engineering will fall under that. But before we get to the biomedical engineers, we need to purchase equipment that do have service agreements. We need to purchase equipment that have warranties. If not just the 1-year warranty, even maybe extended warranties. Because it is out of that we can even get proper maintenance of these equipment. Yes, we need biomedical engineering. But Mr. Chair, even with the biomedical engineering, let me give you a scenario. Let's take, for instance, that you've gone to buy a Boeing 747 aircraft. Brand new Boeing 747 2025 brand. You have a biomedical engineer who can maintain your plane. But you know that Boeing will not give you all the secrets to how to maintain the equipment all the way. Boeing will only train you to a certain extent. And at some point, you need Boeing engineer to come from where Boeing is done to come and maintain that aircraft. Because they won't give you, it is called trade secrets. They won't give you all your trade secrets. So as much as we are training biomedical engineers in Ghana, we still don't have the full extent for them to do everything about each of the machines. So regardless of how many biomedical engineers we train, which we continue to train, we continue to have in-service, we continue to even send some of them outside the country for special training, we still need to make sure that the purchaser of those equipment is purchasing from the right place, has gotten the proper warranty, if not extended warranty, and also built into the contract that the company should have in-country servicing, so that once the biomedical engineer reaches a space where they can't go any further, then the company comes in and helps us with these machines. Lack of maintenance culture is one of our biggest problems in healthcare. We have inherited a very bad maintenance culture. For us to move forward and to fix that problem, even if we buy new equipment into the system, if we don't fix these systemic problems, which we continue to look at and we continue to fix, my minister is very, very passionate about this topic, and I am too. We need to get to a place where once our biomedical engineers are stuck, that there's a additional or supplemental work that can be done. And that comes from the initial procurement and the initial agreement to procure. And that is where some of the issues inherent are. And we are hoping to remove those obstacles along the way as we make new procurement. Thank you.
But, Madam, when it comes to whole teaching hospital, for example, between 2018 and 2023, 80 to 90% of the maintenance was outsourced to a third party. And we are talking about, spending 137,000, 203,000, 754,000, 574,000, 776, even 1.8 million over the period on third-party vendors for the maintenance of medical equipment. Now, these vendors, are these maintenance people, are they from outside the country or from Ghana?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think the system we have inherited, if you can indulge me to explain to you a little bit further. So the ministry will procure the equipment and take it to, for instance, whole teaching hospital. That's all the ministry will do. So the hospital now is required to find a vendor that will maintain that equipment, and it's individualized. So Ho would do its own vendor agreement, Confanochi will do its own vendor agreement, Kolibu will do its separate vendor agreement with individual vendors. And these vendors technically, for instance, again, Boeing 747, I bought it. It's in Ghana. The Boeing company usually has an agreement with another local company to service the equipment. Those are the vendors that the hospitals will have to go through and also sign agreements with them. What is currently happening is that each hospital is doing its own agreement. The agreements are not the same. It is different even though the equipment may be the same. Sometimes the equipment are not being the same. And that is why we have flagged as a ministry, and now we are looking at procuring from Central, which is the ministry, making sure our agreements are done properly, making sure that they have the warranties, extended warranties, and also that the companies itself will help us with maintenance, so that even if we are having agreements with third-party vendors, those third-party vendors are universal throughout the system. That will build into the system proper standardization, and we can also monitor to make sure that the work that they are doing is done with best practices. Thank you.
Okay, Madam, I think the concern is the number of biomedical engineers that we have in this country, and whether or not they have the conditions to be working in hospitals. I mean, we have KNUST, they continue to produce a lot of biomedical engineers. Myself, I studied lab technology, and I should be working on labs and working in the labs and all of that. But there's a challenge. And the challenge is that we have not built a culture that is able to contain these engineers. For instance, my kid brother works for Philips. He's a biomedical engineer. And what happens in the industry practice now is that they lease the equipment to the hospitals. So these equipments are leased by these giant companies, Siemens, Philips, and all of that. Then they have their engineers who on a daily basis move from hospital to hospital and ensure that the machines are maintained. So yes, we can spend a lot of money, $2 million, $3 million, go and purchase these things. And because of the thing that you said about trade secrets and all of that, these companies are unwilling to deliver to you. Why is the government of Ghana not considering leasing these machines from these giant firms so that they can come and establish their...
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for your time. You're still watching Channel 1 Television. We're bringing you a live coverage of the Public Accounts Committee sittings. Currently before the committee are CEOs and management of various teaching hospitals from across the company, or the country rather, in the company of the Deputy Minister for Health, Grace Ayesu Dankwa. We interrupt that live programming to bring you another live one, which involves the Minister for the Interior, Muntaka Mubarak, who is currently addressing the press regarding outcomes of investigations into violence that characterized the 2020 and the 2024 general elections.
We did the second one 2 weeks ago, and he advised that we update the country where we are. So you realize that most of it is not really conclusive, but it is ongoing. But at least you can see a lot of progress that have been made, and I want to take this opportunity to thank the team, a 30-member team from the CID department that has been working tirelessly to ensure that justice is served. So without further time, I'll just go ahead. So Government Communication Minister, the Deputy Minister for Interior, the Acting Chief Director, Minister of Interior,
Build a website you love with Wix. For your words, create your brand, your opportunity, your breakthrough. Feeling a vibe? Run with it. From can't look away to gotta have it. Make every detail yours. Bring out what's hot. Remove what's not. Crystallize it. Instantly set a tone that speaks in your voice to your audience. Keep moving. Your site grows with you. Add solutions that meet you where you are and take you where you want to go. Smooth to make, easy to love.
A lot of people at home. I've personally met with a lot of them. Most of they have the labor unions for biomedical engineering. There's 3 or 4 or 5 of them. Some of them are complaining that even when they are being put in the hospital to go and work as residency type programs, they are not allowing them to do it. Some of them are sitting at home 5, 6 years after they have graduated. There's the lab biomedical engineers, and then there's the university biomedical engineers, and it looks like there's some sort of a
small-scale mining regulation, 86% of the recommendations had been fully implemented. In that, they had a total of 29 recommendations. Of the 29, 25
and that these maintenance ought to be funded through two sources of financing, GOG and IGF. Apart from WHO and say Konfanoti Teaching Hospital, Kolebu and Tamale Teaching Hospital had none. It is only WHO that had excesses of releases, if I'm right, looking at the table. 500,000 they had it, 400,000 they had a release of, 600 they had, and even 1.8. For the last one of 2023, they had all the release for 1.8 million, but they only spent 446,000. That is just an outlier. But my question properly is this. If you procure all of these machines and looking at the payment structure that we have for services that are provided by these high-end machines in public hospitals, which cannot accommodate the actual funding for it, how do you expect that these hospitals, even having the greatest of biomedical engineers, be able to maintain these equipment and not come back here on the table talking about maintenance and procurement? Because that is very critical. If they are not able to recover the cost of services that they provide with these high-end machines, how do we expect them to maintain it? Looking at Kolebu had 0, Konfanoche had 0, and Tamale, that one, they actually do not even have a budget for them to have a release on it. That is per the book that I have in front of me. So how do you do that? And if one of the CEOs here probably will share how they probably would be able to help in this direction before even the minister also gets in, because the releases are scary. You can purchase it for them, but how do they maintain them with 0 releases for that? And them also not being able to charge the right prices because the people that go there, we that go there, cannot afford the actual prices. How are you going to help?
Honorable Chair, thank you. As my MP rightly indicated, it's about realistic charges. If you come to Konfanoche Teaching Hospital, we will have the same equipment as a private person. But because probably from the prices approved by Parliament, we are to take X amount. We can't go beyond that X amount. Our competitor, who is just across the street, is taking 3 times the X. So they are able to recover what they spend, but we can't. And that is the issue. We have hospitals that are quasi-governments, and I won't mention names. They will go there, they'll tell you, this is the cost of the service. But because you cannot afford it, they have all the expertise. Go to Kolebu or go to Konfanoche, knowing very well, when you come to us, we can't say you can't pay for the services. Since we are public institutions, we are bound to take it. So one appeal we will also make, I'm sure, to, I don't know which of the subcommittees of Parliament, those fixing the prices, sometimes if we can also be heard, so that each of these services will give you the realistic prices. Because if MRI is costing 3,000, 4,000, but then we are hamstringed into taking 1,000 cedis. Even before we use the service, we are in the negative, 3,000, 4,000 in the
Doc,
negative.
Currently, the Fees and Charges Act that will allow you to amend these prices have been brought to Parliament, so you can work with your minister. But I remember very well that usually with these fees and charges, you meet all the teaching hospitals and then they make a case. Once they make a case, you compile it, it is sent to Cabinet. If Cabinet agrees with it, they approve of it and they bring it back to the ministry for the ministry to submit it to Parliament through the subsidiary legislation. Currently, I know there is, and they've brought, the minister said they are bringing or they have brought. I'm not too sure, but I know there is a new fees and charges bill in the offing. So if you can work with them, it is not, even if they have submitted it to Parliament, it is not too late to make certain amendments. And so if it's justified, but I believe that what the public hospitals should be looking at is monies to be able to maintain them, not to charge at the same rate as the private hospitals, because for the private hospitals, they purchase it themselves. But for us, government gives it to us. And so the most important thing for us to do is to make sure we charge monies that are commensurate with the proper maintenance, so that when it goes bad or there's a fault, you will be in a position to maintain it. That is what we should look at. That is how we should look at it. And that is why it is called a public hospital and not a private hospital. So we should also take that into consideration.
Honorable Chair, advice were well taken. Thank you.
Madam, just to let you know, I just had a text message about your analogy about 747. And it says very few people ever buy airplanes. The airlines will not, the air manufacturer will not sell you a personal plane. They all lease it. So, and then they will give you the guidelines. If the engine has a problem, this is the person who will repair it. So I just wanted to correct that. Nobody buys an airplane now. They lease it.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I'm guided, but it was just an example I was using just to clarify some of these issues. Thank you.
Go ahead, answer your ask.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, on paragraph 109, I see a worrying trend here. The trend is with regard to the damage of the machines in the various health facilities. And any time there's a breakdown of the machine, it goes with loss of revenue. So to take you back, in 2022, the CT scan machine at Tamale Teaching Hospital was down for 59 days, resulting in loss of revenue of 444,000. The X-ray machine was down for 21 days, leading to loss of revenue of 33,000. At Kolebu Teaching Hospital, in 2022, the CT scan machine was down for 243 days, resulting in loss of revenue of 1 million plus Ghana cedis. The MRI was down for 150 days, resulting in loss of revenue of 600,000 plus. Also in 2023, the mammography machine was down for 168 days, resulting in loss of revenue of 73,000 plus Ghana cedis. The MRI machine was down for 240 days, resulting in loss of revenue of 96,000, almost 1,961,000, almost 1 million Ghana cedi. The CT scan was also down for 365 days, resulting in loss of revenue of 1,565,736.85. Cumulatively, let's sum this and look at the money this country is losing. I see a financial loss here. So who is to be held responsible? Which government?
Please, you can answer. It has a question, so you can answer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Honorable member, it is basically the same issues we are discussing. It has to do with the rot that we have inherited. And as we have discussed at this committee the last time I was here, governance is a continuum. We have noticed the rot and we are working on it. Again, it has to do with spare parts. Sometimes it is spare parts. The spare parts are not manufactured in Ghana. Sometimes it has to do with maintenance. The equipment, people who manufacture the equipment, most of them are not located in Ghana. It has to do with our biomedical engineering. We need to train more biomedical engineers. We need to purchase the equipment as a pool. We also, at the time of purchase, we can also negotiate for ourselves better maintenance agreements. When it gets to the hospital level, the hospitals don't have to have individual vendor agreements. There has to be some sort of a standardization where we are all pulling from the same vendors who now have a schedule plan to, for instance, say every month you go through the Western region and do all the equipment maintenance in the Western region. In June, July, August, you go here, so that we can have scheduled maintenance whilst the biomedical engineer is doing the equipment on the ground. The vendors that we have all agreed with, that we have also checked to make sure that they are proper vendors and they can find the spare parts from the manufacturer. Then we have the vendors also do the work. But I think this maintenance problem is a problem that has been flagged for a long time, and we have not really addressed it as we should. It starts with the procurement. It starts with who we are buying it from. It starts with who is signing the procurement agreement. It's starting with who is bringing the equipment. It's starting with what agreement the procurer did with the manufacturer. If we can fix all those problems and look at it as a global problem rather than individual hospital problems, we can set up systems that will really help us in our health system. It's a really bad situation, and we are agreeing with the findings of the audit report. And so the question is, what is the way forward? And we are trying to find sustainable solutions for the way forward. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madam, since I'm likely to be the last person to speak on this issue, I want us, all of us, to go home with some statements made in the audit report, and I'm going to read part of it. It talks about the inadequacy of medical equipment, which led to over-reliance on available ones, which caused frequent breakdown and caused delays in service delivery, reducing the lifespan of the equipment. So, of this statement in the audit report, as a country, what are we doing about it? Food for thought. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, I think that we are talking about the same thing and we are reiterating the same things over and over again. The issue is that the last time we retooled our hospital was in 2014. That is 11 years ago. 2014 was the last retooling. In the last 8 years, there has been zero retooling of the hospitals. So you expect that, you won't be surprised to expect that some of the machines are broken down. You won't be surprised to expect that we don't have spare parts. You won't be surprised to see that because of these breakdowns, we are now resorting to using perhaps, as you mentioned, inferior machines or machines that don't get the job done. It is because we have not retooled in the last 11 years. The current government solution to the problem.
I understand your point. What I sought to do was to just read a statement for all of us So when we are going to our various homes, we'll be thinking about it and find a solution to the existing problem. So I'm not saying we should respond. I just want everybody to go home with that statement. All of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Your point has been well taken, but we agree. Thank you.
Madam, thank you very much. You and your team, you are discharged.
Chair,
but I just want
grateful.
to remind you, the other day, Ministry of Health came here and you represented the minister. I asked about the PET scan, and you told us that you're looking at that. This is just a reminder to you that we pray and hope that this PET scan will certainly arrive in this country and help give us right diagnosis for ailments that needs to be looked at through that machine. So this is just a reminder to you that
Thank you,
we are
Madam
praying
Chair.
and hoping and waiting for that.
Yes, we will get you a PET scan.
Madam,
thank you.
The last time that Confanoche Hospital was here, we cited them for 3 million. There was a 3 million on-end salary. They said we should give them 30 days for them to respond. They haven't collected a penny. They haven't responded. So as such, we add, and if you have something, let me hear from you.
Honorable Chair, thank you so much. In fact, we took a cue from the committee, and we working at the retrieval. One of such persons in the report was David Bonstra, who had scholarship from 2017. Yes, so from here I called him, and he started paying. He's in Germany, and indeed I spoke to him that if possible, we will involve the ministry by writing to the embassy. So we are taking steps to address most of these, Honorable.
Of the 3 million Ghana cedis, how much has been recovered?
Honorable Chair, I don't have the figures right here, but we're working on it. And indeed, taking a cue from here, we received a letter from the Office of the Special Prosecutor asking for all these details. And tomorrow is the deadline for us to provide it. So we are working with them at the retrievals.
Let me ask the question again.
Yes.
You said we should give you 30 days. How much have you collected within the 30 days? Because look, to make it easier on me, I just refer it to the Attorney General. It makes it easier on me. Because we are not playing games over here, sir. This committee has the powers of a high court. You come and sit in court, you tell us 30 days, we'll make some recoveries. 30 days is past and gone. You haven't said anything to the committee. You haven't written anything to the committee. You don't have any proof that you've collected even one peso. What are we wasting our time with? Since you're already going to the special prosecutor on this, we've already added this to the Attorney General to work on it. And maybe when you go to court, by that time, you would have found you have recovered some of the money. So thank you very much, Madam. We are done.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We are grateful.
You are discharged.
Today, we mentioned that we were going to look at the performance audit of the Auditor General on the provision of maintenance of toilet facilities in our public schools. Ministry of Education did not come. Meanwhile, can we have some silence? Respectfully, we are not done with our proceedings. We mentioned yesterday that we were going to look at the audit performance, audit reports on the provision and maintenance of toilet facilities in public schools. We wrote to Ministry of Education and Ministry of Local Governments. Ministry of Local Governments, we are told, is here, but Ministry of Education is not here. And because of that, we can't take it. The auditors for these this particular audit were also here to speak to it, but Ministry of Education did not attend upon us, and we haven't heard from them. So on this note, we'll have to close today's sitting and liaise with the Ministry of Education for a scheduled time between Wednesday and Friday to attend upon the committee so that we can complete this report. So today we'll bring our sitting to a close, and I would like to thank every one of us here. You have made this possible, and for that we are grateful. The Public Accounts Committee will continue to carry out its mandate as is expected of us, and we hope that by this work that we are doing, we all will contribute to making the public financial management space the efficient one that we all want to see. Thank you.